Well, it seems like the First Descendant did one of the worst things a multiplayer PvE game can do. They nerfed the characters. Why would you give the players a nerf when people are already used to having that level of power? Instead of making players weaker, why don't you introduce new powerful enemies? That way, the player doesn't feel like they got their power level robbed and they have new content to play with new enemies to fight against. But they didn't do that obviously, and now the game has mostly negative reviews on Steam. The reviews have tanked, and I'm gonna read a bunch of those new reviews. But before we get into it, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to push this video out in the YouTube algorithm. And here's the first negative review. It says, the nerf was a stupid idea. It goes against the devs' no nerfs policy in the first place. Stop listening to the trolls on Discord that complain about anything and everything. Instead, make a poll in-game and gather opinions from actual players that are logged in and playing the game. Nerfing the meta character in a game that doesn't have enough content to fall on is ludicrous. If you keep this up without adding more content, is a sure way to kill this already dying game. And I had no idea the devs already stated that they will never do any nerfs. Why would you promise something and then do the complete opposite? Are they that stupid? This is why I hate dealing with foreign companies. There's always some weird language barrier. They don't understand the audience because a lot of the time their audience is mostly in the West. Did you really think people wouldn't complain after you promised you wouldn't nerf any fucking characters? How can companies be this stupid? And I agree, you need to actually create more content for the game because people are tired of the same stale type of content. Release new enemies, new bosses, new dungeons, new weapons, new types of weapons, and more missions. You still haven't added the jiggle physics update, but you went out of your way to make the characters weaker. Why don't you just make weaker characters stronger? And that's what this review is saying here. Installed and played this game since launch. Have over 700 plus hours. Been loving it since until the devs decided to nerf NS to the ground, while it was totally fine for them to have Serena, the latest character, one tap the final Void Colossus. The devs made promises and didn't keep them, and now they broke our trust. We can't invest money and time into a Descendant right now anymore because the devs could just nerf anything whenever they feel like it, just because this is the easy way out when they don't want to rework weaker Descendants, or because this is good for the money. And I agree with that. I'd rather every character just be more powerful rather than making characters weaker. Why do you nerf something in a PvE game? It doesn't create an unbalance or more of a balance by nerfing anybody. It's usually only PvP games that do that, because if one character is more powerful than another, then whoever's picking that more powerful character will automatically win. But you're not fighting other players, you're fighting enemies. You're teaming up with players. And if someone wants to play a private game, they can do a private game. They don't have to go public. They don't have to go into the main map or the different maps with the option to be public. They can play private. That's why this decision is so fucking retarded and it makes no sense to me. You should have just introduced more content because people say the game is repetitive and there's not enough things to do in the game. But you rather just piss everyone off because you're a fucking stupid company. And that's what this review is saying here. It says, lack of content. Developers only listen to vocal minorities. You can spend a significant period of time investing in a character / weapon and the developers will just nerf with zero compensation. Exactly. Why even bother grinding if you know the developer can just say, you know what, you're getting way too powerful. We're gonna make you weak as fuck and you're not gonna do any damage against anybody. We have just wasted your time that you spent grinding and leveling up. Why would anybody play the game? They know this is a thing. You fucking idiots. I don't understand this. And you already promised that you wouldn't nerf any character, and now you're doing it, and now people don't even have the motivation to play your game and level up if they feel like their character can just get nerfed. Unfucking believable. Every single company just so far attached from their audience. I don't understand why you can't just talk to your audience directly. Do a survey poll on the game directly. Do a Steam community post on the game page. Talk directly to your fucking players. Your players would have told you, we don't need any nerfs, we need more content. But you didn't do that, and now your game is mostly negative on Steam because you are fucking retarded. And once people get bored of your content, guess what? There's so many other games to play. There's so many other games that are free to play that people can spend their money on. And once people start spending their money on something else and get invested in something else, they're not going to go back to your live service game. That's why you're supposed to continue to give your audience what they want, because they can easily move to something else. And this is why I can't stand live service games or multiplayer games in general. I'd rather just have a complete campaign, a complete single player campaign. I don't want to deal with live service shit. I don't want to deal with companies taking forever to release a little bit of content. It's boring, it's lame, there's too many fucking multiplayer games nowadays. But not only is this new update pissing people off with the nerfs, this update apparently introduces new crashes into the game. Wow, more performance issues. That's what this review is saying here. Game just crashes after I combine modules. No error codes were prompted after the crash. Will revert back with you if the issue is fixed. And modules are basically just attachments to guns and accessories for your character. You're telling me people can't use a major feature in the game that makes them more powerful without the whole game fucking crashing? You guys need to get your priorities straight. This is fucking embarrassing. I wonder if this game was made in Unreal Engine. It wouldn't surprise me because the Unreal Engine is bloated, buggy, ugly. The characters look great, but some of the environments need to look better. But Unreal Engine is just buggy and unauthorized and bloated. Every fucking developer wants to use that garbage engine. I can't stand the Unreal Engine. It was a fucking mistake. But anyway, yeah, the First Descendant, you're a fucking embarrassment. You need to listen to your audience before it's too late. It might be already too late. Your Steam charts hit the lowest it's ever been when it comes to current concurrent player counts. 5,332 players, and that's the lowest it's ever been. If you want to get your players back, you gotta do something quick, and you gotta do it now. Reverse the nerfs, give weaker characters buffs, introduce new content, add the jiggle physics, make the game less repetitive. But I'm not expecting that because companies are so out of touch from their audience, especially companies in other countries. So oh well for the First Descendant, this might be the final nail in the coffin for the game. A lot of people love the characters in the game, but if you don't have good content surrounding those characters or good content that could be used for those characters, why would anybody bother buying those characters and buying skins and getting invested? Oh well, I guess it sucks. People really like the game, especially the women, and now the developer rather nerf characters instead of adding more content. So all we have to do is just wait and see whether or not the developer will listen and whether or not the reviews will go back to being mixed because it wasn't very positive. Only time will tell. So I don't have much else to say. I don't want to keep repeating myself. So the First Descendant, go fuck yourself.